Welcome to the first part of the tutorial of the warranty and return feature of the application. In this section we will be covering the request list and the main page features and tabs. To access all the submitted requests, go to the operator sidebar and select warranty and return. And from there select the requests option. By default, you'll see all the requests in the system. Additionally, you'll notice two other tabs: My Request and New Requests. The layout of all three tabs is similar, with the key difference that the All Requests tab displays all existing requests, the My Requests tab shows requests assigned to the logged in operator, and the New Requests tab displays requests that are unassigned to any operators. Now let's return to the All Requests tab. On this tab and the other two, you can search through the requests by using the keyword search field, where you can enter keywords like part numbers, operator names, customer names, and etc. to search through the requests. For instance, let's search for a customer named Chert Radiator. As you see, the results are all related to the Chert Radiator company. In the status dropdown, you can select a specific status to filter the results. For example, if you choose initial and hit the search button, the list will be filtered to display only requests with the initial status. You can also filter the requests based on their type, whether they are warranty or return requests. Let's filter the table to see warranty requests that are in the process. And search. As you see, we have only one result, and it's a warranty request that is in the process. Let's explore the information displayed in the request table. The first column in the table is the RGA, which is the Return Goods Authorization Number, which serves as a unique identifier for each submitted request. You can edit this number by clicking on the edit button, but keep in mind that the new number must be something unique as well. So for example, we can change this to 73 and hit the change button. As you see, it's updated to 73. In the same column, you'll find two other buttons. The first one will take you to the part support request page, which we will cover later on. The next button is a print button, which is for printing the entire request. If you click on it, it will lead you to a printed page containing all the information available for the request. Now let's go back to the main page. Next to the RGA column is the operator column, showing the operator assigned to the request. If no operator is assigned, you can accept the request by clicking on the accept button. Currently, we don't have any requests that they don't have any operator assigned to them, but we will see that button available when we create a new request together. Beside the operator column, there is the status column, indicating the request's current status. You can edit the status by clicking on the edit button and selecting a new status along with the reason for the status change. For example, we can change it from test purpose to delayed due to further investigation, and we need to provide the reason for the change as well. For example, missing key evidence files. And when we hit the change button, the status will be changed and the code for the reason will be updated here as well. The next tab indicates whether the request is customer based or is inventory based. For example, sometimes the request is submitted because the customer is unhappy with the product or needs to submit a warranty request for the product, but sometimes the item hasn't even been shipped from the warehouse, so we need to submit a inventory based request. Following that, there is the part column, and clicking on the part's name will direct you to its page, as discussed in the lookup tutorial. Now let's return to the main page. The next three columns are serial number of the part, reason for the status change, and the invoice number. The subsequent two tabs are customer credit and vendor credit. If the request is successful, you can assign the invoice amount to the customer credit if credit has been created and assigned to the customer. Similarly, you can deduct the same credit from the vendor if the fault lies with them. For inventory based requests, there is no customer credit button since the item hasn't left the warehouse. So if we click on the connect button, since there is no credit assigned to the customer, you won't find any results here. Same for the vendor credit. Next is the vendor column, displaying the vendor of the request. You can view the vendor's information or remove it by clicking on the button beside it. Let's click on it. Here you have two options, view information or remove button. Let's click on the view information. Here you see that the vendor information is available, and also there is a link generated for sharing the request. You can either copy the link or regenerate it. Additionally, you can click on the open in new tab button to access a page showing the request information and enabling communication with the vendor. So here you have the information about the vendor, about the request, and you can also here chat with their vendor. Let's go back to the main page, and here you can regenerate the link. It has a message here that says that the previous link will be unreachable. Let's click on proceed, and as you see, the link is regenerated. Let's close the dialog. The subsequent tabs include the request type, warehouse code, item count, customer member to whom the request is assigned, and the submission date. The next two columns are general notes for the request and internal notes, which are accessible within the application. If there are no notes for the request, you can create one by clicking on the create button. If notes already exist, you can view them by clicking on the view button. Here, since there is no general note, it says create, and here, since you have an internal note already created, you can see the view button. When you click on one of these buttons, both types of notes are accessible. In the open dialog, you can modify them and save the changes. Here we can write another test note, and when you click on save, you can now see the updated note. The remaining columns contain information about the car that the part was intended for, including make, model, year, VIN, installed date, failed date, installed mileage, and failed mileage. And that covers everything for the first part of the warranty and return feature of the application.